Hello, this is African Hearts for Peace, AHP, Manifesto for a Pan-African Renaissance. The African Dilemma. My name is Abebe. As we know it, Africa stands at a historic crossroad, and the world is changing. The order is changing. Our continent is rich in resources, culture, wisdom, and history, yet fractured by conflict, foreign manipulation, and internal divisions. Centuries of colonization, followed by decades of neocolonial control, have prevented true sovereignty and unity. Now the tariff war is going on, and while the rhetoric of independence echoes in official speeches, the material conditions for freedom remain elusive. It is in this context that the African Heart for Peace (AHP) movement emerges, not as a reactionary cry, but as a transformative force for the resurrection of African dignity and unity. I would like to explore the legacy of division. From the scramble for Africa to the imposition of arbitrary borders, the colonial legacy carved our people into false nationalities, pitting ethnicities, religions, and classes against each other. In place of ancient solidarity systems, colonizers erected centralized bureaucracies that served imperial interests. Post-independent leaders, many of whom were installed by support of former colonizers, failed to transcend this structure. Some became neo-elites, collaborators. Others resisted but were crushed. Today the effects are evident. Fragmented states, resource-fueled wars, and millions of disputed Africans. Foreign-backed arms groups, exploitative trade agreements, and debt dependency continue to undermine development. The African Union, rather than being a body of liberation, too often echoes donor countries' interests. This neocolonial structure must be reimagined from the grassroots. You may ask, what is the vision of African Hearts for Peace, or AHP? AHP envisions a united Africa, not in the sense of bureaucratic centralism, but in shared values, coordinated strategies, and collective protection. Pan-Africanism is not a distant dream. It is a necessity through strategic regional blocks, ecological harmony, economic sovereignty, and cultural renaissance. We can forge a new path. We call for a movement led by civil society, youth, elders, and the diaspora, a force beyond party politics or foreign sponsorship. The principles of the HB movement are as follows. 1. Sovereignty of land and resources. Africa must control its own minerals, soil, and water. No deal should be valid without the consent of the people. Land grabs and exploitative concessions must end. Number 2, justice and reconciliation. Healing from colonial violence, ethnic conflict, and political repression is essential. Truth commissions, reparations, and local justice mechanisms must be empowered. Number 3, Pan-African solidarity. From Senegal to Somalia, from Ethiopia to Swatini, our struggle is one. African states must support each other in resisting foreign interference and rebuilding mutual economies. People-led governance. The days of foreign imposed or elite-serving regimes must end. AHP supports community governance, youth councils, and indigenous systems merged with ethical modernity. Number 5, ecological stewardship. Climate justice is not an imported cause. Africa is on the front lines. From the Sahel to the Congo Basin, environmental healing must be central to peace building. Number 6, cultural renaissance. Language, art, philosophy, and history must be reclaimed. A unified African identity can emerge, not by erasing differences, but by celebrating them as part of a whole. Number 7, technology for liberation. AI, blockchain, and digital tools must serve liberation, not surveillance. African Hearts for Peace will develop autonomous tech infrastructures for education, land justice, early warning systems, and participatory governance. Number 8, technocratic modular governance for Africa's future. Recognizing the deep failure of Western imported electoral democracies in many parts of Africa, AHP advocates for a technocratic modular system of governance. Each town, city, region, ethnic group, or tribal unit will constitute a modular governance unit, semi-autonomous, locally accountable, and tailored to their unique historical and socio-cultural context. These modules will be interconnected through a continental network, allowing a replication of successful models across regions, monitoring and adopting of practices, coordination of infrastructure, resources and innovation, and peer benchmarking rather than top-down imposition. These governance modules will be based on meritocratic principles. Leaders must qualify through service, knowledge, and ethical tests, not merely elections. Elders, youth, scholars, engineers, farmers, and healers will form governance councils within each module, allowing deliberative leadership over corrupt populism or foreign-funded campaigns. We reject the false universalism of flawed Western democracy, as the philosopher Plato once mused. A ship cannot be captained by votes, but by those trained to sail. Africa deserves captains who can truly navigate. To do this, we have strategic groupings and solutions throughout Africa. African Hearts for Peace proposes categorizing African nations by shared challenges to implement tailored, unified solutions. 1. Rich resource but conflict-ridden states. Countries like the DRC, Sudan, South Sudan, CAR, Mali, Libya, and Mozambique suffer from foreign interference, mineral exploitation, and civil strife. Our action plan is establish the Pan-African Resource Sovereignty Alliance, develop continental mining standards, replace United Nations or foreign troops with African Peace Corps, use satellite and AI system to monitor resource flows, and preempt conflict. Number two, agriculture giants under threat. These are countries like Ethiopia, Tanzania, Madagascar, Sudan, Zambia, and Nigeria's middle belt face foreign land grabs and internal food insecurity. Our action plan for this is to create an African food sovereignty bloc, launch a pan-African seed bank, train farmers in climate resilient practices, ban foreign deals lacking popular consent, mobilize legal and media campaigns against land theft. Number three, politically fragile regimes under foreign influence. These are Chad, Niger, Guinea, Somalia, Cameroon, and Equatorial Guinea are controlled by authoritarian leaders backed by foreign powers. Our action plans for these groups is to establish an African tribunal on governance and ethics, empower whistleblowers and youth-led civic monitoring, promote regional military self-reliance, and sanction leaders who serve external interests. Group 4, IMF, World Bank, dependent economies. These are countries like Kenya, Ghana, Senegal, Egypt, Tunisia, Ethiopia, and Malawi struggle with debt dependency, austerity, and foreign financial control. Action plan is simple. Create an African Monetary Fund, AMF. Renegotiate debt as a bloc. Establish an African credit rating agency. Launch economic independence campaigns and integrate intra-African trade. Group 5, climate frontline states. Madagascar, Nigeria, Mozambique, South Sudan, and Burkina Faso are suffering ecological degradation. There are also other countries on this. The action plan for this is to establish a Pan-African Green Deal, create reforestation and solar energy zones, promote environmental justice tribunals, confront polluting corporations and foreign exploiters. Group 6, resource poor microstates, such as Lesotho, Eswatini, Djibouti, the Gambia, Comoros, and Cape Verde are vulnerable to manipulation due to size and dependency. Our action plan is to strengthen regional integration, establish a Pan-African Microstate Development Fund, share infrastructure, governance systems, and emergency reserves across neighbors. You may ask, what will be the role of the African Union? Should we reform it or replace it? The African Union, in its current form, often fails to define African sovereignty. It lacks independent funding, people-based legitimacy, and tees against tyranny. African Hearts for Peace calls for a restructured body based on grassroots participation, rotational leadership from civil society, and firm action against puppet regimes. If reform is impossible, we will convene a People's Assembly of Africa, an autonomous platform to lead continental transformation. Another question will be, what will be the role of the diaspora? Africans abroad must transcend the illusion of assimilation and return physically, economically, spiritually to serve the continent. Diaspora wealth, skills, and platforms are essential tools for transformation. African Hearts for Peace proposes diaspora circles for each region, mobilizing investment, advocacy, and return migration for reconstruction. What about international actors and the need for vigilance? No. Unity Project can ignore the active role of foreign powers in destabilizing Africa. The United States, European Union, China, Russia, Gulf states, Turkey, Israel, and multinational corporations all have vested interests in Africa's fragmentation. These exploit minerals, install regimes, manipulate markets, and promote surveillance. AHP stands firm, sovereignty is non-negotiable. Technology can be used as a force of good. AHP embraces ethical technology. We will build platforms for AI moderated dialogue, forums among communities and nations. We can use AI for land registry blockchain to secure ancestral land. We can also do virtual African university for decolonized learning. We can also do conflict early warning dashboards to prevent wars. We can also use this technology in digital direct democracy tools to strengthen participation. How about cultural and spiritual unity? A Pan-African rebirth must be spiritual and cultural. Ancient philosophers from Ethiopia, Nubia, Mali, and Kemet must inform modern identity. Our music, dance, cosmologies, and indigenous governance systems hold keys to healing. We will fund cultural preservation programs, re-Africanize education, and support the African language revolution. In conclusion, this is a new dawn. African Hearts for Peace is not a campaign, it is a covenant. With every village, every youth, every healer and builder, we declare enough. We will no longer be ruled by puppets, fed by strangers, or poisoned by extraction. From the Sahel to the Cape, from the Red Sea to the Atlantic, we rise together. We call upon all Africans on the continent and abroad to join this journey. Let unity be our resistance. Let justice be our inheritance. Let peace be our gift to future generations. So, African Hearts for Peace say to you, the time is now. Thank you.